Covin. 2 years ago, you'll notice within a few minutes that my left hand is shaking. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. It kind of freaked me out because it's incurable, progressive, and the drugs stop working. But it's not terminal, doesn't hurt, and it's not contagious. So I started looking around for, okay, so what can I do that only I can do because I have Parkinson's? Would you like to hear my list?
Yes.
First on the list, I could be a bartender, specializing in James Bond martinis. All together now. Shaken, not stirred. I could work in a nail salon. Every morning I'd go in and shake all the nail polish bottles. Every afternoon I'd go into a paint can store and shake all the paint cans. I could work in a morgue. Every morning I'd shake all the bodies, make sure they're still dead. I could be a barista. Now I'm not sure if there's a machine for this or not, but my thinking was I could do all the whipped cream every day. I could be a mascot for a football team, getting all the champagne bottles ready to pop at the end of the game. What else? I could be a musician, specializing in castanets. I don't have to learn to play them, I just have to learn how to hold them. I'm going to change it up a little bit now. There are 3 kinds of lies our parents used to tell us. First kind is what I call emotional training wheels. These are things they told us before we were ready to hear the truth. Like, all of your teeth are going to fall out of your head. So we had the tooth fairy, right?
That's right.
Second kind of lie is things that were true at the time, but they're not true anymore. You don't put butter on a burn anymore, you put it in cold water. Third kind of lie is they just don't want to tell us why, they just want us to do it. I'm going to talk about 3 of those lies tonight. They all fall in the emotional training wheels category. Santa Claus Part 1, Santa Claus Part 2, and Duck. I give them names so they're easier to remember. So Santa Claus Part 1, when I was 5, I burned down my bedroom. Now I didn't get punished because I didn't play with the matches myself. I took them to my mother with a candle and she lit the candle. And then I took it into bedroom, got all my clothes on fire. 15 minutes later the firemen were there. And it was really exciting because they broke the window and put the fire hose through. In 5 minutes the fire was out. But all I had left were the clothes on my back and the clothes in the dryer. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm 5. It's November. I'm figuring this out. I had pretty much figured out that our parents were Santa Claus. But I had a test now. If Santa Claus lived at the North Pole, he wouldn't be affected by a fire at my house. But if he was my parents, as I was beginning to think, we would have a very light Christmas. Imagine my parents. It's November. I've burned everything down that I own. Their bedroom was right next door to mine, and so all of their clothes were fire damaged. They'd already bought the Christmas presents, which were under their bed. They were all ruined. We had a very light Christmas. Santa Claus Part 2. When my son was 7, we lived in Argentina for a year. And my Spanish teacher said, "Your son is 7, right?" And I said, "Yes, he is." And she said, "Well, at home, all the children are now learning about Santa Claus because their older brothers and sisters are telling him. You don't want him to be embarrassed when he goes back home because everybody else already knows and he doesn't know yet. You have to tell him." So I did. I went home. I said, "Okay, so this is how it works. We're really Santa Claus." And he said, "I don't believe you." Now at this point I could hardly say, "Have I ever lied to you before?" So he devised a test. He said to me, "I have noticed that Argentina has no candy canes. We always have candy canes in our stockings from Santa Claus. If there are no candy canes in my stocking, I will know you are right." I don't know what I was thinking. I suppose I didn't want to let go of his childhood for one more year. I tried to make candy canes. There was no candy thermometer. There was no food coloring. So I boiled beets to get beet juice for food coloring. Hung them on the tree. He looked at those crooked, sickly, yellow, beet juice colored candy canes and said, "Okay, I believe you." Duck. Now, I don't know if it's still true, but when I was little, parents would give their children little baby ducks, little baby chicks, little baby rabbits for Easter because they're cute and fuzzy and adorable. And we got a duck. Now, along about Thanksgiving, that duck is eating size. So my mother took the duck to a food processor and said, "Don't give me my own duck back. Give me somebody else's duck." And he told her that he gave her somebody else's duck. And she told us that he gave her somebody else's duck. And we believed her. That's all I've got tonight. Thank you. You can find me on Facebook under my name, Carol Covin. Covin is spelled C-O-V-I-N, like in a cove, Covin, C-O-V-I-N. And you can find me on YouTube. If you type in Carol Covin, you will get some of my other videos from these stand-up routines. I'm here every other Thursday night. I'm also at Malone's every Sunday night, which now has a weekly comedy show. And I'm going to be performing at Shenanigans Irish Pub on September 25th downtown in Adams Morgan, where they're having an all-ladies night comedy show. Thank you.